That's my name.
Judge Judy.
In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the secret history of Judge Judy. Sure, Judge Judy might be the most fearsome judge on TV, but did you know she's actually appeared on the other end of the dock and has been subject to a number of court cases herself? Stay tuned to find out why she's been sued and the turbulent and strange relationship she has with her husband. Judy Sheindlin, better known as Judge Judy, has been on TV since 1996. Unlike the set of her show, Judge Judy is in fact a real-life judge. She passed her bar exam in 1965 and in 1972 became a prosecutor in family court. Her tough, no-nonsense attitude saw her promoted as a criminal court judge and then later a supervising judge. By the time she retired in 1996, she'd heard more than 20,000 cases. But how did a judge working in Manhattan turn into the iconic no-nonsense TV star we know and love today? Well, it started in 1993 when Josh Getlin, an LA Times writer, wrote an article about Judy, talking glowingly about her unique style, and it was from this article that she first came into public consciousness. Shortly after that LA Times article was published, the TV show 60 Minutes filmed a segment about her, and that was that. Judge Judy became a star, and she would soon be offered her own show. In the years since her show launched, Judy's popularity has grown to such an extent that today, 10 million people watch her every single day across the United States. Such longevity comes with its perks. It not only turned Judge Judy into a worldwide star, it's also earned the show 3 Emmy Awards, and she also holds the Guinness World Record for the longest running show in a courtroom drama. While shows like The People's Court and Divorce Court technically have had more seasons than Judge Judy, they have not been continuous or under the same arbitrator. Not bad for a judge who started her television career at the age of 54. Speaking of the People's Court, it's no surprise that when Judge Judy came on the scene, the producers over at the People's Court weren't too happy. Judge Judy was, after all, taking away a substantial number of their viewers. To fight back and regain some of their lost ratings, the People's Court came up with a brilliant idea to have a new judge preside over its cases for the 1999-2000 season. And who did they decide to hire for the role? None other than Judge Jerry Sheindlin, husband of Judge Judy. Husband and wife were now competing in the same afternoon lineup in a battle of TV ratings. I can't even begin to imagine just how awkward those dinner table conversations must have been. Still, it didn't seem to do too much to affect Judge Judy. When it came down to viewing figures, she won hands down, and husband Jerry would quickly be replaced with another judge, leaving Judy holding on to her title as the top TV judge in the family. Besides the TV drama, the husband and wife have had their ups and downs in their private life too. Even their very first meeting was a dramatic event. As Jerry told the LA Times, there was a reporter from the New York Post there at the bar and I was speaking to him about the case. Judy came walking in and put her finger in my face and said, "And who is this?" I said, "Lady, get your finger out of my face." We've been together ever since. You can only assume he was won over by the classic Judge Judy charm. Interestingly enough, when the time came to get down on one knee, it was actually Judy that proposed to Jerry. Fed up of waiting for him to pop the question, she took the bull by the horns and ended up asking him to marry her. But this wasn't Judy's first rodeo. She was married before. However, that marriage ended when her ex-husband proved to be unsupportive of her legal career, which at the time hadn't really yet started to take off. And as we all know, that was never going to sit well with the no-nonsense Judge Judy attitude that we've all come to love. That wasn't her only divorce either. She's actually been married to Jerry twice. Their first marriage ended when Judy felt emotionally neglected by Jerry following the death of her father, Murray Bloom. Judy was especially close to her father, Murray, and his death hit her hard. At her time of need, when she really needed a shoulder to cry on and needed support from her husband, she felt that Jerry just wasn't there for her, and this led to the pair divorcing. Thankfully, they were able to patch up their relationship and they ended up remarrying a year later after their divorce. And at the time, Judy was quoted as saying, "I missed him and I really found out, and this is not to denigrate your species, actually most men are alike." The second marriage between the pair also seems to have had a few bumps in the road, most notably back in 2002 when they were rocked by accusations that Jerry had been caught in bed with a former housemaid 25 years his junior. The accusation was never officially confirmed, but Judy did say in a Larry King interview, "The only thing I can tell you is I didn't fool around. I don't have a boyfriend. That I can tell you for sure, for certain." Some have interpreted this as implying that she hasn't cheated, but maybe he has. Still to come, we'll be revealing how Judge Judy finds real-life cases willing to be on her show, the time she suffered a stroke during filming, and the numerous court cases that have been brought against her. If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to show your support for our channel. As we all know, the show is named after Judy, but had the judge had her own way, that might not have been the case. Judy first envisaged her show being called Hot Bench, which is a term that is frequently used in the appellate court. The producers, however, didn't like the idea. They told her that the name Hot Bench meant nothing to audiences unfamiliar with the legal system. Although, as a side note, strangely enough, they would actually go on to make a show named Hot Bench years later. Her next idea was to name the show Judy Justice. The term Judy Justice was inspired after she heard some of her courtroom officers warning parents who didn't pay their child support that if they weren't ready to pay, they'd better be prepared for some Judy Justice. Again, the producers didn't really like the idea, although in an interview with Ellen, Judy officially announced that when her contract with CBS ends in 2021, she'll actually be leaving the network and launching a new show on a different network called, you guessed it, Judy Justice. Either way, the decision to originally name her show Judge Judy turned out to be a stroke of genius because it meant that she couldn't easily be replaced like other judges on rival shows. One of Judge Judy's most memorable characteristics is her white lace collar, but did you know that this isn't actually standard attire for female judges? Judge Judy started wearing the lace accessory to look less intimidating and threatening to those that were entering her courtroom. When Judy was first appointed to be a judge, she and her husband took a trip to Greece to celebrate. There, she found a kiosk and she bought the white lace collar from one of the locals who had handmade it. And while she definitely intended for the collar to disarm litigants, there was another reason why she had to have it too. As she explained to her husband Jerry, male judges wore stiff-collared white dress shirts and had colourful neckties that peeped out the top of their robes. As she put it, it served as a nice colourful buffer between the black gown and their face. Female judges, on the other hand, didn't have such a buffer, and so the black robe would often highlight skin tone irregularities and also any sleep deprivation that the judge might have experienced. And so she decided that the white collar would not only be an excellent way to disarm litigants, it would also serve to perk up her face. And while there's no doubt that it serves that purpose, I'm pretty sure that today no one stepping in her courtroom mistakes her for a nice old lady that wouldn't hurt a fly. Anyone familiar with the show probably knows that the Judaisms are often the most entertaining part.
He's not ready.
She ran out of my house and slammed the door, breaking the window. I was extremely upset, so I grabbed a rock and tossed it gently at her car. Where's the rest of her outfit? Did you ever go to church?
Yes, I did.
Would you wear that outfit to church?
No, I wouldn't.
No. You know, I just wanted to know where your head was at.
While Judy may be known to publicly shame litigants who don't follow the strict dress code of the courtroom, the judge herself actually shows up in very casual attire. Under her robe, she's usually wearing jeans and a t-shirt or a tank top. Remember, as long as the cameras don't see it, casual Friday is fine, but in view of cameras, it's always formal Friday. Talking of dress code, over the years many critics have accused Judge Judy's show of being staged, but the truth is that's not entirely accurate. The people sitting in the courtroom pretending to be family members are in fact paid extras, hired to fill out the courtroom. Hollywood actress Amy Schumer, for example, was an extra on the show. All it takes to be in that courtroom is an email to the show's producers with your details and a headshot. If you get chosen, the dress code is business casual and film starts at 8:30 in the morning. You'll even get paid a cool $8 an hour for enjoying the show. The cases Judy presides over are in fact real, so why would someone choose to go on television and have their case aired to the public? Well, Judge Judy has some smart incentives to find willing litigants. But first, to find those litigants, you need a dedicated team of people, and Judge Judy has 60 of them. These 60 staff spend their days looking over lawsuits in small claims court. If they find any compelling cases, typically cases that involve some sort of relationship like ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend, brother-sister, maybe wife and husband, then those are photocopied under the Freedom of Information Act and sent to the show's producers. Once a case is found, the producers get in contact with the litigants and ask if they'd like to forego their civil court hearing in exchange for a free trip to Los Angeles, an $850 appearance fee, and a daily rate of $40. An added incentive is that any judgment awarded is paid by the show and not the plaintiff or defendant. Not a bad deal at all. Even if you lose, it gets paid for you. It's almost like a paid vacation, you know, if you ignore the fact that you're confined for hours at a time taping a show and the fact that your trial is played out in front of millions of households. Still, it's better than losing a court case and having to pay yourself, right? Sometimes, far from being fake, things are actually too real on the show, like the time an earthquake hit the courtroom and the judge had to hide under her desk while everyone ran away. That might sound scary, but it was nothing compared to when the judge had a scare with TIA, which is essentially a mini stroke. It ended up with 911 being called and an overnight stay at the hospital, all during the filming of one of her cases. She described it as going through slow-mo when asking questions. When she was interviewed about it, she said she ignored the warning signs and that was a huge mistake. She urges people to watch out for the signs and not to ignore them. Judge Judy is the highest paid judge in the world and makes a reported $47 million a year. In fact, that not only makes her the highest paid judge in the world, it also makes her one of TV's highest paid stars. To give you some perspective, the only other American TV show host that currently earns more than Judge Judy is Ellen. Judy has complete control over her own salary, so much so that she tells the president of CBS exactly what her salary is going to be. There's no negotiation. When her contract is due for renewal, they meet up for dinner, she writes down her wage demand and hands it to him in a sealed envelope. One time, when the president of the network attempted to hand Judy an envelope with his own offer, Judy was so offended she never even opened it. Judge Judy knows exactly what she's worth and she won't take a penny less than the figure she writes down. So what does she like to do with all that money? Well, she spends it on numerous multi-million-dollar mansions, a private yacht, a private jet, and more importantly, Egg McMuffins for breakfast, of course. Judy herself has said, "I still think an Egg McMuffin is the best breakfast." Having an Egg McMuffin for breakfast was a habit she picked up back when she was working in the family court. It's good to know that even with all those millions, Judy has simple tastes. While viewers are familiar with Judge Judy presiding over matters, it seems she's not shy of being on the other side of the bench too. Judy has been personally named as a defendant in court cases on a number of different occasions, with litigants trying to sue her and the CBS network for a variety of different things. For example, Sandy Spreckman and Kay Switzer attempted to sue Judge Judy by claiming they helped develop the show back in 1995, but were then cut out of the profits. The pair took Judy and the CBS network to court and they were looking for $4,750,000 in damages. They didn't fare too well though, with the case being dismissed by the presiding judge. A similar case in 2018 saw an LA talent agency try to sue Judge Judy and CBS because of Judge Judy's huge salary. The agency, Rebel Entertainment, had a contract to get 5% of the show's profits, but CBS said they didn't owe any money to the agency because the show didn't actually make any profit, it operated at a loss. And the reason for the loss? Well, the $47 million a year salary they were paying to Judge Judy. Rebel Entertainment argued that this amounted to conspiracy between CBS and Judy to cut them out of their earnings. But the judge in the case ruled against Rebel Entertainment. They noted that CBS had tried to negotiate the salary of Judge Judy, but Judy would not be drawn into negotiations. She would hand an envelope and that was that. It was a take it or leave it offer. And without her, there'd be no show. So CBS had no choice but to pay her whatever she wanted. And that, in the eyes of the law, wasn't a conspiracy, but rather their right. So what do you think? Do you think $47 million a year is a fair wage for Judge Judy? Leave a comment below, let us know. And have you seen our video about Simon Cowell? You'd be shocked to hear his story of how he went from being nearly bankrupt and working in a mailroom to today being one of the most powerful people in the entertainment world. Thanks for watching, catch you on the next video.